It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable, customized designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support at sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Deezer, Stitcher, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with a couple of comedians. They're based in Los Angeles. They're Nick and Nick with a new show, Get Rich Nick. We're going to talk about their show as well, too, and also talk about their careers, how they got started, how they came together. And I guess you just kind of you say they've done every side hustle and gig in a quest to make $1 million. Of course, along the way they sell plasma, charge e-scooters, and win the car on The Price is Right and more. And, of course, just a lot of things about these great guys. And live, ladies and gentlemen, coming together from this pandemic right now, here we are, the two great comedians of Get Rich Nick, Nick Turner and Nick Vatterot. Guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having us during this pandemic.
Thank you very much, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So it's great to have you guys, and, we just love your show. And, of course, you guys are the hosts of Get Rich Nick, and you guys have been around the block for quite some time. And before we get into all of that, tell us, guys, how you got started in comedy. So let's start with one of the Nicks.
Well, I don't want to speak for Nick Turner, so I'll speak for me, Nick Vatterot. We both started. Let me speak for Nick Turner. Nick Turner started in Washington, D.C. Is that right, Nick?
Yeah, I'll tell your story after you're done with mine.
All right, so Nick Turner started. Let me see if I get this right. Nick Turner started in Washington, D.C., and then he was the king of comedy there. And they said, listen, kid, you got the stuff. So you need to leave / we're kicking you out. So he went to New York City, and then he became the king from Washington, D.C. in New York City. And that's where he and I wound up doing stand-up comedy together there. Did I get it right, Nick?
Yeah, Nick actually started in St. Louis, Missouri, before quickly outgrowing the comedy scene there and moving to the big scene in Chicago, Illinois, where he excelled at all types of stand-up comedy, sketch, and improv comedy. He had beautiful long hair back then, but then a gang accosted him, shaved all of it off, and it never grew back, not even to this day, and forced him to move to New York, where we met.
Well, by a gang, you mean God. God, I think, sort of pulled all my hair out. It's a hilarious prank.
God's still your hair.
If you think God's a gang, then yes, that's exactly what happened.
You can read all about that in Vatterot's memoir, God Stole My Hair.
God stole my hair. That explains why I'm bald and many of us. God stole our hair. Maybe he's trying to tell us something. Why, were you guys thinking about writing or singing or something? Or
Well, it's funny, we kind of did this podcast out of just the idea of kind of sitting around and being like, what would be, we were broke comedians and we're still constantly, especially in this pandemic, you never know what's going on with your job. You're always like, well, what's a fun way to make money, or how do we make money this week? With stand-up, in comedy, you're acting in one thing this week. You're submitting a writing packet the next week. You might be waiting tables because you're in between gigs for a little bit. And so like the idea of like, sometimes be like, yeah, let's write a country song right now. Let's write a country song called God Stole My Hair and see what it's like to try to get it some play. And I think what we're doing is we're trying to take a lot of these things that you're like, well, what is it like to donate plasma or to try to get on The Price is Right or to be a background extra in a movie? And we're doing a lot of these things and then talking about it each week. And we have some successes, but then the failures, I think, are even funnier to listen to.
Oh, really? Okay. So what are some of the failures that you had experienced on the show? We'll talk about your successes later, and maybe some failures, and it's a pleasant way of saying, kids, don't try this at home.
Well, we've lost money gambling a lot. We've tried to gamble on horses, on e-poker. Every time we gamble, either Nick or I develops like a new gambling addiction that ruins our life. Gambling has not been helpful.
Yeah, not a great way to get rich. We've found out.
Yeah, last week we tried to we gambled. We bet our friend $500 that he couldn't run a marathon without any training. And he ran the dang marathon. We were furious. He did it in like 4 hours and 16 minutes. It wasn't even hard.
4 hours?
4
hours and 16 minutes? You could have just lowered that and still got your money, don't you think?
Yeah, well, if I could have done it again, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I think I totally overestimated how difficult a marathon is.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, I told Brooks, I said, I don't have more respect for you for doing it. I have less respect for marathons in general.
Uh-huh. And of course, you've encouraged people to cheat, like in the Boston Marathon with Rosie Ruiz and some of the others just getting out of line and taking sides or taking a cab. It's like, that's probably a different story. It's like, they claim to do it under such a time, but they just like hop in a cab and just get around it.
Yeah,
we were worried now.
He was going to take a bird scooter for most of it. But,
a bird scooter? Oh my God!
Coronavirus wiped them out. Yeah.
Yeah, if he started jogging up to like 60 miles an hour, we were going to get suspicious.
I don't know if I could do it at 60 miles an hour. I'll tell you that. It's like, I don't know if I could last a marathon, maybe like 1/8 or 1/10 or somewhere around there. Or maybe a mom says, okay, you guys take over. So.
Yeah, I read yesterday there's these people, some woman was running a Ironman in her house and her husband kicked over the cord and unplugged it.
Oh no!
She was doing it on a thing or whatever. I tell you what, I don't know how. We had Brooks do it outside of the house, but I don't know how there's a lot more spouses at each other's throats with people trying to run Ironmans and marathons inside their houses during quarantine, which there seems to be a lot of that right now.
Oh my gosh, trying to run Ironmans under quarantine? You think Tony Stark would have a say in that one?
Well, I think that's an Ironman's tough because you're just knocking on the bathroom door, going, "How long are you going to be in that bathtub for?" And you're like, "No, I got to run my third. I got to run my swimming third. I got to go."
Oh my gosh, boy, marathons and. I was thinking the Pelotron at first, but then you talked about gambling as well, too. For some reason, you didn't do well in gambling. I was thinking like maybe betting on the Super Bowl or somewhere around there. It's like, does anybody know you never guarantee the New England Patriots winning the Super Bowl or something? So, yeah.
Well, we're looking into betting on the elections, which is sort of, there's no sports right now.
No, don't bring this up. Well, I just lost a lot of money today because I bet $100 on the fact that the Wisconsin Democratic primaries would be postponed, and then the governor postponed them, and then so I was like, I celebrated because I won. I had $200, and then the Supreme Court of Wisconsin overturned it, and now I'm out. I lost $100, and I'm absolutely. That happened 10 minutes before this phone call.
Oh my gosh! They must have ate too much cheese making that decision. It's like, what were they thinking after eating that cheese? Could it be that stinky cheese or something, Swiss cheese, where it's holy? It's like, oh my goodness, what's going on with those people these days?
The problem is that they fry the cheese, so it fries your brain.
Oh my goodness. Oh,
Nick, I'm sorry to hear that, man. That's really tough. That's a tough loss right there.
That is a tough loss. It's all tough losses. But I did have one big win from the podcast. Nick has a former roommate who went on The Price is Right and won a car. And so we had him on, and then it was like kind of a funny episode where we'll be like, oh, so tell us how to win a car. And then we went down to Price is Right to try to win a car. And then I was the second name picked, and I won the first game, and I got to go up and play a brand new car. And I played the dice game, and I pretty much just rolled the dice right and then won a car.
Oh, wow.
Well, I think the best way to make money we've found is going on the Price.
and what kind of car did he end up winning?
It's an HRV LX Honda.
Oh, wow. That's an interesting one. I thought it was going to be those smaller ones or maybe those sports cars or whatever it is. And I was just going to ask if you guys had to play Plinko or something. So,
oh, I wish.
Yeah, Plinko's the best.
Yeah, everybody wants to play Plinko. I don't want to play some stupid dice game. The table was too small, and they give you these giant fuzzy dice, and I kept rolling them off the table.
Oh, my gosh.
Like an idiot.
The pit boss had to keep coming over and telling him to watch himself.
I almost got kicked out of the Price is Right casino.
He got kicked out for smoking on the Price is Right. Hey, buddy, you can't do that in here. Watch your drink. No drinks on the table.
Yeah, I could imagine that. Well, we'll talk about some of your success stories in just a minute, but first listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking our budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition way. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/the Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with Nick Turner and Nick Vatterot of Get Rich Nick and the Mike Wagner Show. It's a brand new show, and you can check it out as well, too. And, of course, we talked about some of the things they had done as well, too, like with they try every side hustle and gig to make $1 million. And, of course, win a car, charge e-scooters, sell plasma, and gambling on the wrong thing, and selling plasma. So you can just tell us about the experience. And, once Bard used to say, sell plasma, where you just like give blood, or you just want to say, hey, who wants to buy some plasma during this time?
Well, the plasma thing's very... Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, people are rarely trying to pay me for any part of my body, so I found one, and I wanted to take advantage of it.
And the plasma thing right now is sort of interesting because with the coronavirus, we did this like 6 months ago. But the coronavirus, they need plasma right now to do testing for a lot of the, solutions that they're looking for. And so we did this, I remember in college, you'd hear people donating their plasma to make money for extra cash. And I never knew what it entailed. And so that was our first episode because we were like, let's just go to the place and go through the experience. And it wound up being a pretty, we found out that you can make money that day, if you're like, I need money today, you can go and get money, which is a lot of our show is a lot of like, yeah, we want to get rich, but we also kind of want to like, if I have a phone bill due by the end of the week, how do I get extra money to pay that bill? How do I get money today? And plasma was a good thing to go in and get money that day, but it was funny. Turner, he was allowed to give plasma, and I was not allowed to give plasma.
Uh-oh.
Well,
I think it was just because of my attractiveness level.
Yeah, they didn't want my platelets.
They only want plasma from sexy dudes.
Yeah, they said you too ugly, and then they spit their tongue out at me, which I thought it was unprofessional. And I was like, my mom can say that to me, you can't. I was. They said that you have to be hydrated, and so they kept sort of being like, you have to be hydrated. You have to be hydrated before we take this, plasma out. And so after like the 10th sign, I just started like, well, I better start drinking some water. I went to their water fountain about 15 times, the coldest water you've ever had. Well, every time I took the thermometer, they kept saying, "Sir, you're." They were taking my temperature. My mouth was too cold, so they told me to go warm up my mouth. So I'm like walking outside trying to warm up my mouth. I'm pointing my mouth at the sun, I'm trying to like shake my head a lot to warm it up. I don't know if you've ever warmed up your mouth before, but you don't think of how I've never had to warm up my mouth. So I didn't know how to do it. And so I went back in and they said, "Yeah, your mouth's too cold. You can't give plasma today." And so I got out of it, but Turner had to do it.
Yeah, I ended up injuring myself pretty badly. This was a not recommended activity. I think I like jiggled the needle at some point, because when you donate plasma, it's not like donating blood where they just take out your blood. They take out your blood, then they run into a machine, and then they take out the plasma, and then they put the blood back in your body, and then they keep doing that like 4 or 5 times for an hour. And I think at one point I moved the needle so it was no longer shooting into my vein. It was just kind of shooting into my arm. And then I got a hematoma. It was just a giant bruise pretty much the entire length of my arm. And it looked really, really gnarly. It was fine, but it was like a pretty harrowing experience. And then at the end, they kept telling you get $75 your first day. And then after all this, it took like 4 hours. Then at the end, they were like, "All right, here's your money. It's $50."
$50? What happened to the other 25?
I thought it was 75, and they were like, "It's 50."
Oh my goodness!
This was a good explanation.
Yeah, his arm looked like The Walking Dead. It really did. When we have pictures on our Instagram, check out Get Rich Nick podcast Instagram. We got all these pictures and stuff, but it looked like The Walking Dead. And then he looks at me and goes, "What happened to you?" And I was like, "My mouth was too cold."
Oh my goodness! but I'm sure you guys can think of other ways to make some quick money, like sell plasma and charge e-scooters. I think you talked about scooters as well too.
Yeah.
Cheating in a marathon and charging e-scooters. I've never heard of it.
Well, they're sort of like starting to, I'm from St. Louis originally, and they just, they kind of got there a little bit after L.A. L.A., they're everywhere. They're an annoyance, and so whenever you see something that's annoyance, there's probably a way you can make money off of it, and that's what we did. You can charge them.
They just dumped like thousands of e-scooters all over the city, and they've done it in pretty much every city, every major city in America. And they're just like, they litter the streets, and you can turn them on with an app and ride them around. But then at the end of every day, they need to be charged. But they don't have anyone who works at the company. There's like one guy who owns all the e-scooters, and he works in a penthouse in Manhattan and has never seen an e-scooter. So you can, for a job, download an app, then go pick up these scooters, take them home to your house, and charge them overnight to make some money. Like $5 per scooter.
$5 per scooter? That you may as well put some gas in it for like about About $5. I mean, gas prices are low. It's like, heck, just a few bucks. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's sort of. I mean, it's pretty annoying, but it is one of those things where you're like, if you did this every night for, you get 5 scooters, 5 a night, 25 a night, 5 days a week, you can kind of add up, And so what we really want to do is spread ourselves so thin that we're doing about 75 different jobs at any point, not really making too much money off of any of them, but hopefully they will all eventually add up to pay for us to I don't know, all the gas we waste doing all this stuff.
Well, I guess I can say just whatever works as well too. And of course, you guys also did some background extras as well too. And of course, tell us what's that like. And of course, you guys wonder too. It's like, what's it really like to be a background extra?
Yeah, well, it's really insulting usually, like what the jobs are. Because we had to go to central casting, like when they say, like, this guy looks like he's straight out of central casting. Well, that's an actual place. And you go there and you sign up to be an extra, and then they take your picture. And pretty much, I guess, anyone can sign up, but it helps to be weird looking to get jobs. And Nick and I will get texts about, like, background work that's, like, it's always, like, really insulting. Like, I got one for It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and the description was like mouse breather on a bus.
Mouse breather on a bus? Oh, no.
Nick, did you get a really insulting one?
I've gotten only insulting ones, and it's such a window into how the world perceives me. I've gotten like shady pervert. I've gotten just like what cigarette smoking criminal, manic skinhead, just like a lot of oh boy, this is. I don't know. Is this why I don't do well in dating profiles? Because people are like, "Look at a manic skinhead. I don't want to go out with this guy."
So those are just like they send you all these texts just to see if you're available, and they send them to a bunch of people, and then you almost never get the job. But I did actually get one for an ABC Family show, and it was like exactly what you always hear about, like on a set where all you do is just hang out all day. And then you just wait, and then work for 5 minutes. I got there at 11 a.m., and I did not start working until 8 p.m.
Oh, my goodness.
And then I worked for 45 minutes and left, and then I got paid a full day plus overtime.
Wow.
Plus, they used a fog machine, so I got smoke hazard pay.
Smoke hazard pay. That is interesting.
Yeah, it was an extra $20. Yeah, it was pretty sweet.
And if you mind me asking, how much you get paid throughout the day? You get there at 11. You didn't start work till 8. You work 45 minutes. Then you got smoke fog hazard pay. How much you end up getting throughout the whole day?
I got almost $200.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, well, it helps because we're in SAG, so the rate is like doubled for SAG members.
Uh-huh.
I think like if you're not in SAG, the rate, you probably would have got a lot less.
Well, that's true too. And I've talked to some people who want to be an extra just for the fun of it. And of course, I have a story too that I almost got into a movie with Wildcat starring Goldie Hawn. And the catch is, and here's the thing: you had to dress up in like winter gear. You're on the sidelines, you're in the crowd, yay, team! And it was like 90 degrees outside. And I have to say, it's like, I think, thank God, I had something else going on. It would have been cool to be in a movie like that, but I have to say is that, well, I think I'll try for something better. It's like, 90 degrees in like winter coats. No, thank you.
After going through that and watching TV and seeing some of this stuff, you're just like, oh my God. You see Game of Thrones and you're like, I can't believe those extras have to wear those coats all day long. And I think in like The Reverend too, like how would you like to be an extra in The Reverend? You know, it's
Ooh.
one thing that whatever it is. You know, what is it? What was it? Bobby Good Looking? Who's that guy? Leo Oscars. He's all. What is he making love to a bear or something? You know,
making love to a bear. Oh, jeez. I could barely stand it. Well, if for us it was Cindy Bear, that's fine, and for the ladies, Yogi Bear, that would have been better. Instead of, hey, where's Boo Boo? Yeah, wrong name, pal.
Yeah, Yogi's a pervert, man. Walks around, no pants, just a shirt. Come on, guy.
And loves getting chased by the park ranger.
Yeah, that's
Yogi Bear is such a pervert. You guys are up for the same extra roles.
I know.
Stealing picnic baskets. Yeah.
Yeah, some of the extra roles were like not even roles. They were just like a big dumb idiot. And you're like, wait a minute, this doesn't even sound like it was just an insult, you know? Drunk jerk. I don't even know.
Drunk
I don't even
jerk.
know how you look like a jerk.
I got one that was just you'd have to be wet. You have to be wet.
Must be wet. I'm wet.
You sure?
Come nude and wet.
You sure they sent that
buddy.
to the right person? They didn't give like the wrong text numbers or something. Oh my
God!
God!
I went down there and I made them all pay for it.
It's a living.
Yeah, hey, that's a living. That's right. We'll talk about some of the other ventures you've done, too, and a little bit of experience. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com. It's powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look on a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/the Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here, comedians Nick Turner and Nick Vatterot on Get Rich Quick on the Mike Wagner Show. And, getting back, before we get back to some of the stories, I just love hearing some of the stories on the Get Rich Quick podcast as well, too. Nick Turner, you were Texas-born, Virginia-raised, New York-grown, LA-based comedian. You just jump all over the world. You've been on Jimmy Fallon, Comedy Central, and also you had a yelling album, which was really interesting. Just tell us about what's it like working on Jimmy Fallon. And Nick Vatterot, you can also jump in. You did some Late Night with Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, that was our first credit. We both did it like very close to each other in 2011.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Fallon is such a jerk. No, he's fine.
You had my mouth. You had my mouth open for a while. You had my mouth open. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, I mean, I wish I had.
Doing their show.
I wish I had Dirt. He was like super nice, and yeah, I don't know. I saw like something. There was like a thing going around about Ellen recently, and people were telling all these mean stories about Ellen, and I was like reading the mean stories, and they didn't really sound too mean to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm a mean guy. I don't know. Like somebody was like, she didn't say hi to me before the show. And it's like, I don't know. She's probably busy, like, but Jimmy did come and say hi. He said hi before the show, and was super nice. And I did sort of a very weird thing on the show, which you can look at my website and check out. But he was like, he juiced up the audience and definitely was like, guys, this is this guy's first time on TV, and it would just mean the world to me if you like supported him. And yeah, it couldn't have been a better experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was so nice after the show. He actually had me come have dinner with his family, and I slept over there. I lived with him for a few weeks.
Yeah.
The nicest guy.
Yeah. You're quarantined with him right now, aren't you?
Yes, I quarantine with Jimmy Fallon. The next new T-shirt being sold on Amazon.
That's what I always think when you see those people on Instagram, like the celebrities doing videos from their palatial estates telling everyone to stay home. So it's like, yeah, of course you want to stay home. If you see one on Instagram, you should be allowed to go to that celebrity's house. Be like, I'll take you up on that offer. I'm staying at your home. So this thing blows over.
or just
you live in a resort. Your house is a resort. You have 14
only
pools
stay on your
inside.
private beach. Yeah.
Just stay inside, guys. Meanwhile, people in their Brooklyn or a closet apartment, where if they can't lay down in their apartment because it's not big enough, and they're telling them not to go anywhere. Just stay in.
Or just go knock on the door and say, "Hi, can I quarantine with you?"
I mean, it'd be rude. It would be rude not to. I think you could make a video. What I really want to see, though, is I want to see Jimmy Fallon, do the Tonight Show, and then his kids keep jumping all over him. I want Nick Turner to run out of the back and jump on Fallon, and Fallon's like, "Come on, get out of here! I'm trying to do something." And Turner's like, "I want to play."
Oh my!
I wish you had roommates that came out and were like, bitched at him about cleaning. Like, hey,
Jimmy, was this your burrito?
The Tonight Show.
Yeah, celebrities never have roommates.
Oh my goodness, that is so. And of course, you guys have been on Comedy Central as well too. And Nick Turner, you starred opposite Parker Posey, a pilot for Comedy Central. You had that album Yelling released in 2016, and tell us more about that album as well too, Yelling.
Okay, well, I tend to be pretty animated on stage, and I don't like to stay quiet. And then you're thinking of an album name, and you think, what will stand out? And so I picked Yelling, and I regretted that decision every day. It doesn't sound like it's a stand-up album. It sounds like it's a guy yelling.
It's just you screaming for an hour.
To it, where I do just scream for an hour. It's all the same jokes, but I just scream them with no audience.
I think you should do a follow-up called Whispers. And it's like an ASMR thing.
I did a follow-up called Silence, but it's been hell trying to edit it.
Nothing.
Oh my goodness! He also guys performed in the Montreal Fest as well too. And what was it like being up in Montreal besides being around a bunch of Canadians?
They're not Canadians in Montreal.
Hardcore French.
Yeah, it's. I like to say that Montreal is like it's like fake France. If you can't afford France, Montreal is Groupon France. It's super cheap. You don't got to go across the ocean, and you're basically in France. They speak French. The signs are in French. It's like the town's putting on a little play. But what's great about it is that they'll break character, unlike France. When they go to France, they commit. They speak the French. They will only speak French. But in Montreal, you'll walk in, they'll be like, bonjour, and you're like, yeah, I don't do that. And they're like, fine, what do you want? So it's great. So it's like it's a much easier France.
I think we got up there. So.
And you know what they got? They got poutine, which is Canadian French for fries with gravy with Wisconsin. That basically those cheese curds from Wisconsin you love so much. It's basically a fancier Wisconsin. That's all Canada is.
Oh my gosh, you're making me hungry already.
Poutine's the best.
Also, once in Montreal, I found a giant bag of weed on the street. And I was kind of a hero of the festival at that point.
It's funny. I lost a bag of weed.
Oh, no.
Boy.
It didn't go to weed.
Well, that's good.
well, speaking of weed as well, too, you guys invested in some weed stocks as well, too. And what was it like trying to sell weed stocks?
Well, we just wanted to try out, whenever you invest in a stock, you want to be very familiar with the company, with the product. And so we thought for this episode, we would become familiar with this product that we'd heard so much about.
Yeah, it was tough doing the research on this. We had to watch a lot of movies, but we figured out what the whole deal was.
Yeah, we listened to a lot of Beatles songs backwards. We went down to the dispensary. We tried out the products, and I think our favorite product they had. So they got all the vapes now, and they got all the flour, as they call it, which in the old days they just called weed, but now they call it flour. But our favorite thing that they had was a marijuana bath bomb, which was a bath bomb that you drop in your bath, and we thought it was hilarious if two guys really wanted to get high, but the only weed left in the house was a bath bomb they bought. Like, hey man, we can get high, but there's a cat.
I totally forgot about this. This is the funniest thing I've ever heard. How have we not told this sketch?
I don't know. It's so funny. Just two guys, like, all right, dude. Like, you want to get it on this bath bomb with me? Hell yeah, dude. Let's get lit.
Yeah. So while we had a lot of success learning how to get high, we did not have a lot of success finding out how to make money on the stock market, betting on weed stocks. It's
a pretty saturated market.
Yeah.
Nobody's making money on it right now.
You know what? Can I give you some advice? Next time you do marijuana stocks, talk to Cheech and Chong.
You think they're in it? Those are like VC guys. They're like venture capitalists. I bet you, Chong. I bet you Tommy. I bet you Tommy's got like I bet you he owns 17 farms in Humboldt County as we speak.
I bet Tommy, he's like, that's a wig at this point. He doesn't even have long hair. He's got Don Draper hair, and he's just in business meetings all day.
Yeah, that's what happens to all those hippies. They get the suits, they get tons of money, and then he smokes his roaches out of like an 18-karat like silver
a clip, yeah. or probably like pure silver, pure gold clip. I could imagine that, having all the little diamonds on that. It's like, I bet you people in Saudi Arabia are very jealous. And of course, you think about the in Saudi Arabia, it's like, I read a story. It's like one of the richest guys out there. It's like was eating like ice cream out of dessert cups, and it's littered in diamonds, and driving a Mercedes that is just nothing covered but diamonds. Can you imagine that with a roach clip? Oh my God.
Well, yeah, and the problem with these diamond bowls is they're not dishwasher safe. You have to hand wash them, and they just pile up in your gold sink, and it's just very unsightly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Chong seems like the type of guy that you go nice silver roach clip, and he's like, it's actually pooter. It's actually not technically silver. You're like, all right, thanks a lot, man.
Did you say pooter?
What did you say?
Did you say pewter?
Yeah.
Pooter?
I thought you said pooter. Then he said pewter. It's like, which one, pooter or pewter?
Listen, man, I thought it was called The Revenant. In your words, I wouldn't be doing a podcast.
Oh my goodness.
I'm trying to make money, not get smart, okay?
Yes, I hear it coming in right now, people listening. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Come on, hear more. It's like, I'll put in a jukebox one day. It's like, you want to hear more? Put another quarter in. And do you remember those, I don't know if I'm dating myself, but you go into a restaurant and you all watch TV, you have to put a quarter into a TV. You watch for 25 minutes. When 25 minutes are up, you have to pop in another quarter and watch for another 25 minutes. It makes me think of that. And I remember one funny episode, too, going back to Ernie Kovacs, where they're in this restaurant, you have to put in quarters, watch TV, and the killer is, you have to put in another quarter. He couldn't find a stinking quarter.
Oh man, I can't believe they used to do that. We used to. I went to a hotel in Vegas one time, and the bed needed a quarter. And I you know what? I didn't put a quarter in. I slept in it anyway. I
I mean, what
didn't even pay that bed.
What happens when you put a quarter in the bed? Is what? Give it a good night's sleep? Does it vibrate? Does it give you sheets? Does it heat? Does it I mean, what does it do if you put a quarter in? Seriously.
You know what? All of those things are so old. You can't tell if it's doing what it meant to do, or if this thing is so old that this is all that it does now. But I think we definitely put in like a quarter and we washed it, and it just kind of made the dust kick up from it, and that was all that it really did.
Oh my goodness!
Shuck around just to see all the skin and worse from anybody who's ever like laid down on it, and be like, you know what? I literally slept on the floor at that hotel.
If you try to put a quarter in it now, all it does is light on fire.
Yeah. Not meant to be done.
Now, if you light on fire, what if you ate too many burritos or beans and eggs? It's like you put it in, lights fire. It's like, then what?
Oh yeah, that's how a lot of people. That's why they don't come back from Vegas. They went to the buffet, went to the quarter bed, and yeah, they're embers now.
I guess what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. I have to say that.
You should coin that phrase.
Oh, there you. Oh, coin the phrase. You have to do it You have to do it every quarter.
Right?
Yeah. And of course, speaking of money, there's some other things you try to do as well too to make some money, like like a sperm and egg donation. You don't hear that in the news these days. You hear about the corona, you hear about the presidents and all that. Yeah, it's like sperm and egg donation. It's like, how much money do you make off of that?
Well, the problem is they wouldn't take my eggs, and I thought that was sexist. No, we went into the sperm and egg donation, and this is one of our this is a pretty popular episode, I'd say, Turner, right?
Yeah, inexplicably, because we didn't get very far.
No, we did not get very far.
We have it turns out they don't want everyone's sperm. And some people are too old to give sperm. And I think we outgrew it. They didn't want to be so explicit when we were there, but we saw them, how they laughed and passed around our driver's licenses. But it was a no-go. They only want young, beautiful people, not old podcasters.
Oh, no. I think we feel insulted, including yours truly. Remind me not to go there. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, don't go there to get sperm. But do it for us, though. Out of solidarity.
Yeah.
Yes. If you want sperm, come straight to us. We will figure it out for you.
Oh, my.
Well, we talked to a guy, on that episode, we did talk to a guy who used to give it in college all the time, and he was like, it was basically my job, and he made a lot of good money doing it. So if you are the right age, and it requires a little bit of an imagination. Well, or if you don't have imagination, they got magazines.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, also, I think one of our, if you're looking to listen to the podcast, and you're like, what's a good episode to start on? Start at the beginning, or if you're a skipper or rounder, we did a babysitting episode that people love, and some of our stuff is like Price is Right or donating sperm, or some of them is just like, what is it? Let's just make money tonight somehow. And it's pretty funny for two grown men to babysit two children, and these kids were hilarious. And I remember when they came out. What was it, Nick? The one came out to me and they said, I think one of the kids asked me to leave on site.
Yeah, he asked me to get you to leave because he didn't even want to acknowledge you. Oh, or did he say it straight to you?
Oh, no, he said it's to my face.
Oh, okay.
I think he said, "Can he leave?" And then not only did he say he wanted me to leave, he pointed at me as if there was some sort of clarification that needed to be made, that he wasn't talking about I was the only other person in the room. But kids are hilarious, and he pointed right at me.
But to be fair, you usually don't need two grown men to babysit two kids. So he was just, probably trying to save his parents a little coin.
Yeah, but I also feel like it's like the same business I get from the central casting, where I think he just looked at me and he was like, no, we don't need this role anymore.
In other words, it's not you, it's me or them.
Yeah.
Can we get this wet, creepy smoker out of here? Try to have a nice night. Read a couple of books. Go to bed early.
Yeah, we had to do the whole rigmarole. I mean, we had to give them baths, which I think parents are like, yeah, of course. But I don't know. I don't even give myself a bath, let alone children that I just met.
It would be weird to give yourself a bath. How do you even wash yourself? That's a good point. I don't know how to bathe anything. And then you get two kids in there, and you're just like, that was maybe one of the worst moments I've ever had on this podcast. Just the hardest. I don't know what to do. To bathe a child, I've blocked it out.
Yeah, well, we kind of wound up splitting up the kids, and I took the younger one, and he loved his bath, and your guy hated it.
My guy screamed the entire way through his bath. So it's like, what was not uncomfortable enough at first? It's just like screaming like he's being murdered. It was hard to know what to do.
Yeah, and my guy kept picking up Bubbles and smiling and being like, Bubbles! So he couldn't have been more adorable. And then it switched. When it was time to go to bed.
Yeah, I took mine and I read him a couple of books, and he put his head on my shoulder, and he told me he loved me. And then I put him to bed, and it was the easiest, sweetest, 15 minutes I've ever had in my life. Meanwhile, in the other room,
my guy, his head started spinning around, and pea soup came out.
Oh!
And, I'm not going to bed, and neither are you, forever.
Green pea soup sounds like the Green Goblin, the Green Monster, Green Hornet, whatever it is. Oh my goodness! Sounds
Wasn't
like
it
Batman.
The Exorcist?
I think so.
Exorcist
Yeah.
Used pea soup, which, by the way, St. Louis. A lot of people don't know that.
Get out!
What?
Get out!
Well, yeah, the backwards walking lady. It was supposedly a real story from St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh wow!
But I don't know if that ghost is still there. I think she might have moved. I think her husband got married and got a job, and they had to move.
Yeah, ghosts are famously always moving around,
Ghosts.
spreading the coronavirus.
We're moving from St. Louis to Amityville, home of the Amityville Horror or something.
They go to a worse place. Really? We got to go to Amityville? Well, I don't know. There's lots of work there. Apparently there's a lot of job openings because they just cannot keep people there. They keep having their heads fall off.
Or move on to Salem where you're with a bunch of witches. They can always find you some work, so...
You know what I like to do? I like to go to Salem and just walk around being like, this whole thing's a witch hunt. That's what I say. And they're like, yeah, we're doing reenactments. I was like, no, I know. Carry on. I like watching.
Oh, my goodness. This is really good. We love to have you guys back on. And where can we find Get Rich Nick at?
You can find it anywhere podcasts are given. That's where it'll be.
Yeah, iTunes, Apple iTunes, but all the places you rattled off, earlier. It's everywhere. People got their podcast joints, and we're on there. Also, check out our Twitter and our Instagram. It's Get Rich Nick Podcast, and follow us and then you'll always get the new information and dates and new shows and any new news we got going on. We have a Patreon also. You can check that out for Patreon people out there that love that kind of stuff. But yeah, Get Rich Nick.
patreon.com/GetRichNick.
Absolutely.
You got that, and of course a couple of things with you guys. You've been fantastic. Definitely love to have you back on, talk more about the podcast and just some great stuff here. And who are some of your favorite comedians growing up, and who do you consider your biggest influences today?
Oof. Yeah, it's a minefield we're walking through.
Oh, yeah. I was going to look up comedians to see if I'm still allowed to say that on here.
I think I'm still allowed to say this, but Steve Martin was my first love.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, I think we were talking about an earlier episode. I was going to point out to Steve Martin. Now I forgot. It's like, dang it, Mike, write it down next time, will you?
Yeah, he's one of those guys that you like know of him, and then you hear, Let's Get Small or one of his albums, and you're like, whoa, this is what he is. I mean, he was a great stand-up comedian. He's so fun.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, he had to be one of the best as well too. And of course, what do you consider? We already talked about biggest influences in the careers, and what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
I don't know if anybody wants mine. I'd have to strap them down in a chair to get them to listen to it.
I can tell you what not to do. Don't make the choices I've made.
Yeah, how much time you got?
I mean, I think we're big content guys. You just got to put just keep, depending on what it is. If you want to go into comedy, you just gotta I don't know. I almost feel like it's constantly changing though. We were guys that just got up every night, as far as stand-up comedy goes, just got up every night. And depending on where you are, but I feel like all over the country, there's places to get up now and kind of work on your stuff and just keep cranking stuff out. And I think a lot of people,
I think it's like, but it's like advice is, it's going to take a really long time. You're going to have to do stand-up for free for almost a decade, and then stand-up for free still, even when you're making a living at it. And that's pretty much it. Be prepared to work for free for the rest of your life. You better love it.
Yeah, one day I think retirement is finally figuring out what you did with your life.
or
you're like, oh, that's what I was.
Or just getting those change boxes that people throw change in. So, hey guys, Nick Turner, Nick Vatterot from Get Rich Nick. Thank you very much. You guys have been fantastic. Definitely going to have you back on.
Might have lost him.
Yeah. And before we go here, once again,
really bungled that last question. So
he hated that. He hated our answer so much.
So you got no advice. Why did you say that?
And once again,
how long do we just talk?
There's a chance he can hear us right now.
Oh my! Oh, you guys have been great. So
we're open up on the hour anyway.
What's that?
Yeah. That was literally the last thing we were going to say. So
we gave.
I have to go. I'm supposed to do. Let's record this thing with Brooks right now.
Okay. If he calls, I'll just give a thanks if he needs to wrap up, and then.
Okay.
We already plugged his stuff at the end.
Okay, sounds good. And by the way,
I mean, we did everything. All he would do is say goodbye. He might just.
Okay. Hey guys, just want to say, tell us about your upcoming projects, your website, how do people contact you, where people purchase and listen. All right, that's great, guys. Thank you very much for your time. It's been fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon.
Thanks for listening to The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.